welcome back to Retrieving Sanity with your podcast host Keegan, and this is your podcast for all mental health, addiction, recovery issues, and topics. And today we have a very special guest. Her name is Kanika Vasudeva, and she is an energy and consciousness coach, an Akashic Records reader who helps parents heal emotional wounds, navigate co-parenting challenges, and connect with the soul blueprint of their children to raise empowered, resilient beings. After the heartbreaking loss of her daughter, Kanika turned to energy healing and the Akashic Records, uncovering the hidden patterns, karmic imprints, and generational cycles that shape how we parent and relate. Today, she guides parents to break free from inherited trauma, find peace amid legal or emotional conflict, and raise children who feel deeply seen, safe, and supported. So, how are you doing today?
I'm doing so well, and I'm really excited to be on this podcast. Thank you so much.
Of course. I'm super excited to have you on today, and it is an absolute honor and pleasure. But I also do want to say my deepest condolences for the loss of your daughter. It takes a lot of strength to do what you do. Well, why don't you just tell me a little bit about yourself real quick so that we can get to know Kanika?
Thank you. I don't think anyone chooses the path, Definitely my story, my path was chosen for me. So I did not choose to be brave. I just had to become it. So early on, as I was growing up, I am an engineer. I'm an MBA professional. I was working as a project manager, so very much like a black and white person, very much like you do this, then that is the outcome, very linear thinking.
Yeah.
I just did not even know any other way. When I was around 35, I'd already started feeling a little disconnected, unhappy. And then I talked to my friends, and a lot of times it was like this accepted feeling that you grow up and life just gets a lot harder, a lot more frustrating. You're supposed to be happy when you're a child, and then you grow up and
It's just frustration.
yeah. And so I was supposedly normal in that sense. Then I was pregnant with my daughter, and I wasn't actually feeling any happy at all. It was medically an okay pregnancy, but it was one of the most stressful pregnancies. There was things that were going on with me. I was waking up and just really crying a lot. And then one day I woke up and my daughter wasn't there. Like I did not feel any movement. So I went to the doctors, realized that there was no heartbeat. And this was 31 weeks along. So I already had a son. By that stage, her room was prepared, the bassinet was there, all her clothes, everything was there. And this wasn't what we'd anticipated. So that was a big thing. Now, the story before that, where I was feeling disconnected, unhappy, I was feeling sad, there were some trauma issues, I could sort of numb myself to it because that's how the world's wired, right? Like it's sort of normal to be sad. It's normal to be unhappy. Like look at your movies, look at just general shows and so on. Like it's normal to be unhappy in life. The way of numbing down was also what generally everybody in the world does is you watch a movie, you talk to your friends, you go, you have a drink, you escape from the problem. With my daughter, and I think this is how I manifested it because I really needed to learn. And life gave me the smaller signals. And I did not listen till the signal became like really loud and clear. But I could not run away from this. There was so much shame that I felt here. And I felt so guilty. Like I had lost a daughter, as a mom, that's your job. You bring the child into the world, right? And I had failed at that. That was the outer symptom. There were so many other deeper layers to it. And so that is the time when I really broke down. And I think I needed to break down because there is this structure that we operate in. You know how we say we get in our own way? I wasn't able to relate with the help that I needed to have. And something so drastic had to happen that I went to a place and I said, well, universe, I need help. Like this is something so much bigger than me. I just cannot cope with this. And I started asking for two things. I said, well, I need help. And I said, I need to connect with my daughter. And it wasn't like a please request, as funny as this might sound, what I'm going to tell you. But it was very much like, I'm a mom. You've got to listen to me. Like, this is my right. I need to speak with my daughter. Like, I had no
Yeah.
idea then. It was like, I need to speak with her. But I think in that sense, I was really, without knowing it, I was getting in that place where life wasn't being done to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I was taking that step and switching it over and going like, okay, now I need to be in control and this needs to happen. And I was really asking for it, that I need this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so magically, I started bumping into some intuitives. And then I found out my teachers, my first teacher started telling me around energy healing. Really, really good guy. And he asked me, okay, why do you want to do this? And what is your purpose? And I told him I want to tune into my daughter, and which is why I worked with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I connected with my daughter. And when I connected with her, so this was my one-on-one session with my daughter, a little bit like you and me, except that I was sitting with my eyes closed and I was just tuning and I was just talking with her spiritually. And
so cool.
I had my heartfelt chat with her, like things that I wanted to say. So I said, hey, I love you, all those things. And the bigger, deeper question I had was, why did you come into my life? Because I wasn't planning to have her. And that's okay. Like, we were happy with that. I was prepared with that. And then you did not come into my life. And I don't understand why. Like, what did I do wrong here? And she said, there was a soul contract that I had with her before this body, before I was born. And I had asked her that if I'm wasting my life, she should come and kick me so that I wake up. So she was trying. She was telling me I'm unhappy. She was trying to help me. I wasn't listening. So the sound was like a knock. Then it was a knock. Then it was a knock, knock, not listening. And it was knock, knock, knock. Like, you've got to listen, girl. So that's what she had to do. And once I understood that, once I had that conversation, really, like, it was as if the weight could just go off me. A lot of it went away with that because I realized I wasn't wrong. I realized I'd asked for it. I'd realized that I did not lose her, that she was still with me. There were so many other healing things. I think it just started me on the healing journey. This is what I always love to tell the listeners as well, that there would be moments in your life where you're feeling like, gosh, this is so hard. This is so difficult. And I don't know right now what exactly it is that you're going through, but I can promise you this from the numerous clients that I've seen, that whatever you're going through, whatever your dark moment is, exactly there is your moment of light. Exactly there is where the light comes in. Just allow that to happen. Look at it more from a perspective of not why me, but more thinking in terms of what's the lesson for you? What is the evolution? Because you, as you are very needed, exactly like this. There's just some evolution that you were seeking that your soul's trying to help you with.
Huh. That is so interesting. And that is such a beautiful story, too. Pardon me, but
I know.
yeah, that's just so cool. And it's just one of those things that, like, I wish other people could get that kind of closure. And you help people do that now, too, right?
Yeah, so I think by grace, I tend to also get a lot of clients who are dealing with loss, their kids' loss, or even others, like where they've lost their partners, sometimes their parents who have lost their parents and they want to have a conversation with them. It's surprising how much guilt we carry with that, how much we want to have those last conversations. So I help parents or the individuals connect with the person and I help them do it for themselves because I have myself experienced where others have done it for me and they've said, your daughter is saying this and you're doing that, and still felt very disconnected because it was like, well, she's my daughter. I want to chat with her, And then you can ask follow-up questions and like it's been a long while. So if she was alive with us, she would have been about 7 years old now. And so the relationship grows over time. Over time, you have different questions, you have different things that you want to share, and it might not be something like that, but it might just be that you see a different dress, you see someone else, and you just think that, hey, this is how you would look like, or would this be something that you like? And I could totally not have that, or I could just think like, I can just have a very quick check-in, that quick thought. I can hear back from her. And I can know, okay, she likes this or she doesn't like this. And so it is, I still miss her, but it's a different way of, we can still chat. Like I haven't lost her, right? So when I can help people do that, that is really amazing. When they can build that connection, that they haven't lost the other person,
Yeah.
but they're there for them. And often these spirits, they'll hang around for a while, because I have yet to come across someone who's passed away from the family and they've left. Like, they're often still hanging in there, and they're just wanting their parents, their families to know that, we're okay.
Yeah.
We're okay. And please be okay. We want you to be okay. There's actually a lot more love that comes out. I've not yet seen someone who's passed away and who's so dearly missed in any other shape or like with any other message.
Really? That's so
No,
interesting.
not so far. Like, I would say that yes, there would be people who are not loved and who've been, but typically when families are missing someone or when you've lost a child, I've always seen them hanging out with the family.
That's really good to know for anyone out there that's lost anyone or anything, I guess, maybe?
Yeah, like even dogs, cats, they're
Yeah.
all there for you. We feel at a physical level we've lost them. You can't have a cup of tea with them, you can't share a physical moment with them, but you haven't lost them. And even if you're not doing a session with me, you could start talking to them, and you could have your communication things. Like, you can say, hey, I want to know whether you like this tea or whether you like this t-shirt, and just notice what is the thought that comes to you. You'll need to have your channel a lot more clearer though, because sometimes that could be someone else speaking on that behalf.
Ah.
But if you can clear your channel, then I would suggest that you communicate and you have your boundaries as well, because there are people then, and I've had to do this even as much as I love my daughter. I've had to do this where I've had to tell her that, this is our time for correspondence. This is not our time for correspondence. Just sort of like how you do it with your kids or other people as well. Because there are times when I'm a lot more ready about it, a lot more ready with it. So she will now usually come in when I am in a meditation space. And that's my space really where I can listen to her a lot more fully. And then there are other times, but that's not the time where she will come in fully. I'll just know that she's hanging around and she's sort of in the family and doing her thing. And that's absolutely okay. But you can have those limits, and you can limits for both things. You can tell them when you want them to reach out to you. So see what are the things that normally work for you. If you're good at talking out, or if you're good at writing can be very, very good. And you can say, okay, I'm going to write. And, I just want you to help me answer certain things. So you could ask them those questions, why did you die? I still miss you. Start writing with that, and just have that intention that they're there and they're going to help you through it. And notice, like, the words will start coming by itself because you're channeling that energy. They will bring that message to you.
Wow. It reminds me of like automatic writing. Is that an appropriate term?
Yes.
So I know that some spirit workers will definitely use that, and so I'm not sure if that would have been an applicable term for the Akashic Records as well.
Yeah, let's talk about the Akashic Records, right? I think there's some myths around there. So it's like, this is Akashic Records. This is available to a few people, and not everybody has access to it. They're like our collection of everything, this huge mystical library that has information about you, information about me. It's like the Google Cloud, except like this is up in the mystical library, and that has all the information. And I believe that every intuitive hit that we get, every download, every guidance that we get, whether we realize or not, we're tuning into the Akashic Records, because we're tuning into one section of that and we're getting it from there. Now, it might be that, okay, we're tuning in from the Akashic Records, or there's some other being or someone else giving it to us, but the source of that information would have been in the Akashic Records, because that's where everything is stored.
So it's kind of like getting a like Dewey Decimal System library card kind of thing whenever you get a download?
Yes. And it's not like someone else controls it for you. If you want to tune into your Akashic Records, You sure can. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't, or, there needs to be this and that.
Uh-huh.
All I would say is just focus on clearing your channel so that there's not the interference with it, but you're just able to tune and get the information for yourself as much as possible. Yes, like the rules would apply if you're accessing information for someone else, just the way like privacy applies, right?
Yeah.
Normal, good, ethical world, you would want that.
Yeah, you don't go through someone's journal just because it's laying on the coffee table, right?
Exactly, right? So that's the same ethical rules should apply, and they apply in the world as well, in the mystical world.
You say you have to clear your channel to gain access to the Akashic Records, correct? So for those that may not be familiar with what channel you're referring to, what would you describe it as and how would you clear it per se? Because if we can clear it, it obviously gets clogged up, and I'm imagining that it comes from those stressors of life and everything, right?
Yeah, yeah. And this is where we are tuning into energy. So I'm talking, or I'm referring to the energy channel.
Ah.
So I'm an energy coach. For me, everything is energy, which it is, whether we realize it or not. There are even departmental stores. You'll walk in there, you'll feel a little bit different depending on the music that they're playing because you're matching that energy.
Yep.
We are all vibrational beings. All the emotions have an energy vibration. So energy is at play with everything in life.
Oh yeah, I totally
Now,
agree.
yeah. So now energy channel, what's that? So
Yeah.
think that there's an inner flow and your inner flow will
Okay.
bring the outer flow. So think of a tap, right? A running tap. And the
Okay.
flow there, that's like a channel. Now you just have to imagine, what is your inner channel like? Is it flowing?
Okay.
Is it not flowing? Think of the time when you were a little child, maybe 2, maybe 3, whatever time you can remember, and the time when you were happy. Because usually that's the closest, that's our natural state. We sort of know what we like before we start getting told a lot of no's and not to do and so on, right? But that state of happiness, that's a state that you carried in, you got in for this lifetime. That's your vibrational state. If you're off from that, if you're off balance, and chances are you're not. So if you're happier, that's higher vibration. If you are lower than that, that is lower vibration. Lower vibration would be like grief, like blaming, like feeling defensive, feeling unworthy, sad, all of those things. Moving to higher vibration. So if you want to move into the channel clearing, this is blocked channel, this is clear channel, right? How do you get there? This is first of all getting a little bit neutral. So as in something's happening to you and you just, like, if something happens, let's say someone crosses you in traffic or someone passes an angry remark, what are you feeling inside your body? Are you feeling triggered?
If it's neutral, probably not. It's like,
Yeah, right? So if that is there, that means your channel, your energy channel is flowing at that time. And the way to start activating, to like start clearing away the blockages, is to start thinking, getting into higher vibration. So first of all, you can start looking at gratitude. So try finding, okay, this thing is happening. Maybe somebody cut you off. Maybe somebody said something and it was off. But go like, okay, I am thankful to that. Now, you're not thankful for what they did, but you're thankful in the sense of, what did I learn from it? And maybe I learned patience, but what was the learning, right? So start doing that. And if you feel that that's the hard one, because it is, start thinking of the easier things that you're thankful for in life. Your bed. Maybe you got a clean glass of water. Maybe you have a healthy body. Maybe you are able to talk. You're able to have a more quieter time or time to yourself. Whatever those little bits are, do that. Bring gratitude to as much and as many things as you can. Even the things that you don't like. Like,
ooh, that's a hard
I
one.
know,
How do you do that?
right? Well, so if you don't like someone, you're not getting along with someone. So you're just saying gratitude is, well, what have I learned from them? Even if you walked away, it's like, okay, what have I learned? How have I become stronger? And how have I grown? So just go gratitude with yourself. Gratitude for you to like face that situation and not break down. Gratitude for learning. Gratitude for your growth. Gratitude for your evolution. Gratitude for being able to endure that and walking away, understanding your boundary. So start with you, but do
Okay.
the gratitude there. But get into a daily habit of gratitude. And so, this next one, people in general in life, we are wired to collect what makes us unhappy. Like, actually wake up in the morning and we go, okay, what's going to make me unhappy today? And okay, it's not a conscious thought, but this is what I do. We'll go like, the coffee machine is not working today. The weather's really crap today. Somebody cut me off at work today. This did not happen right. Like we collect what is not making us happy. So consciously just try and collect things that make you happy because you're trying to
Okay.
go up in the vibration. So try and think, what makes me happy?
Mm-hmm.
And even if this is the slightest thing, like you could be thankful for your chair or whatever, like there was another podcast episode and the lady asked me around parents. So she works heavily with co-parents because she helps people who are into very high conflict divorce cases. And so she was asking about, well, what sort of clients really come to me and what are the most common issues that people have when they are in this situation.
Well, I
And
can
so
imagine.
she asked that heavy question. And I think I'm so wired to not think like that anymore. Ego is the biggest thing. Like you want ego or you want to get back at the other person, you want to attack them. That's kind of the big thing. But I could not end with that. Like I could not give, well, number one, this, and then move on to the next one. And I'm like, well, but when you are looking like this, when this is how you feel, when you really want to attack the other person, think of your child in between. Think of what is in the benefit or what is the well-being for your child and hold that to help you out. So every single thing that I had to point out in terms of the issues, I was more able to look at it in terms of the higher angle that we should take because I think I'm just wired like that. And the reason I give this example is because if I can do it, I was for so long so depressed and all those things. So you too can do that, my dear friend. We all start. You can do that too. Like just find the good thing. If your child's annoying you, if your partner is annoying you, tell yourself, what are you learning with that? And if you feel that there's some negative thoughts that are going through, think of, okay, I'm going to cancel that. What is it that makes me feel happy? Think of another affirmation, switch the song, listen to some other happy songs, switch the audio around you or inside you to start shifting your inner channel.
Okay. I really like that. And real quick, it sounds like one thing that you're not doing, you're not necessarily saying the negative emotions or the lower vibrations need to be canceled out completely or anything, but you're actually sitting there saying integrate them in some way, shape, or form, learn from them.
Yes, I have fought it for so long. And it's been very deep in the sense that I've worked with a lot of teachers, completed, when I say worked, I've like finished all the offerings that they have because it's just been like uncovering and healing myself more and more. And so there was a point in between where I went like, well, I'm doing all of this, sort of not looking at my negative part. And it was like, well, things are not still as great as they should be. Like they're okay, but they're not good. And that was the bit, you can't ignore that bit. What I'm actually seeing a lot more with my clairvoyance is that the negative emotions just tend to sit, a lot of times. Or if I look at the human collective and I see which one or where are we the most unbalanced? What is it that we need the most?
What is it?
We struggle with feeling unworthy. We struggle with feeling unloved.
Yeah, I can personally attest to that.
And that is the deepest wound that mankind carries. I mean, that's true for me. That's true for all my clients, my students, people that I see, and so on. But these are our main things. So unworthiness sits in your root chakra. Worthiness is like where we all just come out into the world. Root chakra is almost like around the tip of your tailbone.
It does kind of sit there. I've never really sat there and pointed it out for myself. Wow.
That's where the base is. That's where the base is. But think about it. Root chakra is the foundation chakra, right? Root, it's the foundation. How do you enter the physical world? You're coming out from there.
Yeah.
If it's a natural birth, you've come out. Most of us have come out from there. So the soul before birth is this, floating thing, like it does not have limits and so on. It can go anywhere, do anything, right? It's not felt that limit.
Yeah.
Then it gets into the body and it's got to come out. This is your sense of identity. And this is why when we look at unworthiness, that's the fear there. And again, fear as well, because, it's the fear of being born, it's the fear of survival. This is where the baby's coming out, remember, right? Again, so now it all starts making sense. Like it is literally the root of the tree. Like, how do we see ourselves? How do we identify ourselves? What do we think about ourselves? This is where we are getting born. So we are literally getting born into the physical world, coming out as a baby and then feeling very scared. Okay, who's going to hold? And, now it feels weird. Like suddenly I have a body and somebody's got to feed me. And if I, you depend on people to pick you up and look after you for survival. So it's very, very real that everything, the fear, the worthiness, how do we feel worthy?
From, let me guess, other people's acceptance?
Yeah, but that shouldn't be the case at all. Like your worth should not be linked to someone else.
But isn't that what we're always told? I mean, like, because it's like, whenever I think back to it, if I'm not producing service to others, then I'm not worthy. If I'm not providing for others, then I don't deserve either. Does that make sense?
And thank you so much for sharing that, because you are stating what almost the entire world resonates with. And this is why we all suffer at the very base with unworthiness, because we feel somebody else has got to validate my worth. Now think of it this way, right? I'll give you a couple of examples to help understand, and then we'll talk about it. So think of a cake, and I don't know, do you bake?
I have in the past.
Or like there's some ingredients and so on. We're not going to make a very complicated cake here, right?
Okay.
But there's eggs, there's all the sweet stuff, there's cacao, cocoa powder, whatever you put in, there's all that stuff there.
Yep.
There's baking soda or baking powder. And then there is salt in there. We a lot of times feel like salt, the weird person out. Like, what are we doing here amidst all these things? Like everything else makes sense. And what am I doing here? Right?
Yeah.
The purpose of the salt is to bring out the taste of the sweet and bring out the taste of the other things. Like it's just slightly there and it brings out their essence a lot more. Now, when we look at ourselves from the perspective of someone else, we are sort of like a little bit of a salt to someone, bringing out their refinement in them. So obviously when they look at us, they're like, hey, hang on, I've got so much blame for you because you make me feel this way and that way and that way, right? So we feel unworthy, but we're not unworthy. Now I'll tell you the calibration points to look at.
Ooh, okay.
So when we were born, we tend to think of our story in terms of being born as our parents, and we got born from our parents, which is biologically true.
Yeah.
Energetically, Mother Earth, because we could have been born anywhere, we could have not been born. There are so many people or beings who want to get born and, they have a longer time. We got born, we were chosen, we were accepted. We are the chosen ones, whether we believe it or not. So what's happening energetically is that Mother Earth is watching Father Sun, because he's also looking after this planet. And they're watching, they're seeing you as a soul. They're going like, right, this one we want to have in a body here. And we also go around, we also choose our mom and dad, and then we say, okay, this is where we want to be. This is why we hang out, and then we come into the earth. So mom and dad, they're important as well. But mom and dad, they're still on, so they are still getting affected by what we are doing to them, right? So that is it's not that stable point from where you can go, okay, now is mom looking at me and, am I doing everything right by her and so on? And by the way, even if you do something right for your mom, it might not be the best for your partner.
Yeah.
You can't value yourself from your mom or dad. You can't value yourself from your society. You can't value yourself from any external person living on earth. Just because your purpose as such is to bring out evolution in them, their purpose is to bring out evolution in you. So inherently, there's going to be a little bit of triggering that is going on, and it's just the wrong way where you're measuring. You are going to get faulty results all the time. You're going to feel that the fault is with you. You look at Mother Earth, you look at Father Sun. And I'll give you a little exercise to do that as well. But when you connect with the earth as a being, what she is doing is she understands you fully, solely. She understands why you are here. She understands your purpose for the evolution on earth. She understands your role for your family. So when you connect with her, that is a lot more worthy because she is understanding your role as the salt. You don't know it. The players on earth don't know it, but earth herself knows it. This is why you are here. When you connect with the sun, he sees that bigger picture as well. And so when you connect with these heavenly entities, and they're just examples, there are lots more. But when you start connecting with them, because they are understanding and they wanted to have your truest, your purest vibration here on earth, they are here to support you on your journey. So that is where you need to see your worth. And now, worth in general, if you want to see it from, well, am I worthy right now or not? If you are here on earth, you're doing your purpose. Because if you were not here, like if you were not required here, you would be chucked out. As simple as that. So you don't have to do anything to be worthy. Always look at what is your role in the relationship. Like let's say if we look at a parent relationship or a relationship partner, what is it that you are both giving to each other in the relationship? Not transactionally. Not like, okay, as a dad, I'm caring and I'm going to provide. Not that transaction, but evolutionary. What are you thinking?
Breaking generational curses.
Think a little bit more, like if you want to think with your mom or you want to think with your partner, like what is my child? The relationship on earth might feel as if, as the mom, I'm looking after him and I have to do for him and so on. But then I would have not had the relationship unless it was serving an evolutionary purpose for me as a soul. So what is that purpose? And if I tune into that, my son, he's always teaching me about happiness. He's teaching me about life. Like I'm a very serious person. Might not seem as much now, but I'm a lot more serious person. My son tends to bring in that joy. I tend to be very much like this, and then we do this, and then we do this, hardwired. He brings out the other part. He brings out like, relax, we've got to have fun here. This is what I like. He brings out the joy. So he brings that out for me and he teaches me about life that way.
That's so cool. Okay.
And then my purpose with him is then showing him the light a lot of times because he can tend to just feel a lot critical about himself. And my purpose with him is that I hold the light and I go like, well, this is who you are. This is your worth. Don't dim yourself. This is inherently who you are. Seeing that high potential in him and helping him see the high potential for himself.
Okay.
So that's a little bit of the work that I'd ask you to do with yourself, with your relationships as well. I have a freebie for parents that helps a lot more on that because I have a freebie that is soul contracts in parenting. So if parents want to understand what is going on, what is the story with their kids, why are they here? Evolutionary, why are they here?
Yeah.
And then if they want to reframe that, reset that to something that they like today, they can do that. That's available at artoflifecenter.com/parent. Thank you so much for bringing it up.
Yep.
This is to help every parent just understand that journey. And maybe one day I'll bring it for other relationships and partners and our parents as well. That would be amazing. But it's an amazing exercise to do, to think about what is your evolutionary purpose in the relationship, because that will help you understand around worth. Because your worth is not measured by them. Intrinsically, you existing, you taking a breath already is making you worthy.
That's crazy. Yeah. Whenever. It's weird because it's one of those feelings like for so long that you feel not worthy. And so it's kind of like there's a part of me that's like, yeah, it's ringing true. And then there's a part of me that goes, no, push it away. That still don't deserve it. And I'm like, this is a little weird. I don't like it that much. But it is definitely really interesting to see that. Are you familiar with the tarot?
Yes.
So I believe the card that came to mind whenever you were talking about that was the Ten of Wands, reaching back and helping the next person forward as well.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it feels like. And So my question though is, what about the people that are unable to have children or something like that? Because to a sense, some people might feel that that is their purpose, right? To have offspring, to produce a big family or whatnot. But some people are robbed of that for one reason or another. So their worth is to essentially still reach back and help the next person forward too, would you say?
Yes, they're inherently doing it. We are all operating out of our imprints. First of all,
Mm-hmm.
the person that we are in this lifetime, like this,
Uh-huh.
Kanika that you were talking to right now, this is not all of me.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is like, this is one lifetime. I've lived so many other lifetimes. So
Mm-hmm.
just imagine an apple, like just bring an apple into your
Okay.
mind, a red apple or a green apple or whatever apple
Mm-hmm.
you want.
Okay.
So that is your soul. That is who you are, right? That is all of you. And now
Mm-hmm.
imagine slicing it into like 1,000 pieces.
Hmm.
Pick out one slice.
Huh.
It's not even going to be as thick anymore. Like it's almost going to be paper thin because you've sliced it into
Mm-hmm.
1,000 slices, right? You bring out that
Mm-hmm.
little slice. That little slice is one lifetime on earth, almost.
Mm.
So imagine we relate our worth, we relate everything with this little slice. So we forget the infiniteness of who we are. We just go
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, this is all that I know." Now,
Mm-hmm.
with people who are maybe not able to have kids or so on, what I'm
Mm-hmm.
asking them to see is that there's such a bigger story. You seeing that little slice, there's
Mm-hmm.
so much that's going on in that apple. Because as a soul,
Mm.
you've taken so many lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
You've been impacted by so many things.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have had things happen during this lifetime where you got
Mm-hmm.
impacted. So maybe, sometimes apples can have little holes or they can have little blackish, those brownish spots on them.
Uh-huh.
Maybe you had some incarnations, past lives where you
Mm.
had traumatic experiences. Like I've worked with
Mm-hmm.
a woman who, she came to me around some female issues. Like she was just
Mm.
continually getting infections, sometimes a vaginal fungal one, sometimes a bacterial one, but
Mm-hmm.
it just kept on going into a cycle and she wanted to understand the root of that.
Yeah, yeah, for
And
sure.
one of the reasons when I looked at it, one of the reasons in her past life was that she had lost a child while she was
Mm.
giving birth to the child. The child was
Mm.
absolutely healthy. She just lost a lot of blood. So he should have been
Mm-hmm.
born, but he was lost because of that. And so her
Mm-hmm.
lesson to learn was to not depend as much on the people around you so much medically who claim to be like they know it, but
Mm-hmm.
also to tune into your body. And by the way, I'm not disclaiming any doctors, any
Mm-hmm.
medical professionals. I'm simply saying that the message for that lady was also to work with her body as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, the advice that I hold for a lot of people that work with
Mm-hmm.
all the medical help that you're supposed to have. But also tune in, talk to your body. What does it need? And help
Mm.
that. So that's what this lady needed. But
Okay.
she also was not really wanting to have kids
Mm.
because her body remembered that time where she conceived and then she lost. So there can be those patterns there
Mm.
where we've blocked it. Then there can be
Mm.
other things where
Yeah.
growing up, there can be certain things that can be during your childhood years, your teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you might have a relationship, especially in
Mm-hmm.
the teenage years, and then you don't want to get pregnant. So you tell yourself so hard that, okay, I don't want to get pregnant. And then you've sort of imprinted that because, okay,
Yeah.
I don't want to get pregnant then. And then you
Mm.
have trouble. So there can be a lot of things. There can be
Mm-hmm.
ancestral stuff
Mm-hmm.
that we are carrying in ourselves as well.
Okay.
Ancestors would be, and we tend to think just our mom and dad, but going before that as well, we carry a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
stuff from our ancestors. There are studies which show that, for example, types of cancer, not all sorts of cancers are genetic, but there'll be families which will just have history of that cancer passing on in the
Mm.
family. There should be
That's
no
weird.
reason. It is not genetic, but it will just sort of trend in that direction. People in that family will tend to have a particular sort of disease, a particular sort of medical ailment, whatever that is. So we tend to take stuff from our ancestors as well. And
Uh-huh.
it's then the story is, okay, figure out who are your ancestors who've had stories like that, who've had miscarriages, abortions. And there's lots of stuff, if we go back in our history, that has happened where mankind has been very cruel and we've done a lot of not good things. And that trauma is carried, or sometimes that karma is carried with us because that's what we've done. But once you clear that, and that is almost like, so, if you start looking at that, if you start looking at the soul scars that we've had or the imprints that we've had, you look back at your apple, it does not look as healthy now because it's impacted by all of that. So your slice that you cut out, that's not super healthy either because it's impacted by everything.
Yeah.
And when you clean it up, that's when you can start cleaning the lifetime, meaning that whatever you want to manifest, that starts getting a lot easier. So it's just things that have happened in between that need to be healed back.
Huh. Interesting. That makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways that I didn't know I needed explained. I have one question though. So it's a personal belief of my own. So I'm just curious what yours is. So to me, spirit and soul are they are one and the same, but they are also totally separate from themselves. Soul is the entity, spirit is the essence. In my experiences, I guess. So, for example, my consciousness, this me, would be the spirit, and then the other part of me that goes to make another impression or something would be the soul. Is that kind of right in your line of work?
That's sort of how I think of it as well. But I think people just
Okay.
use it interchangeably. And you're right, like I've used it very interchangeably as well. Because when we start talking about all the parallel dimensions or it already is crazy enough. But you're right. Like when I give the example there of the apple, that's literally the oversoul. And then we have the spirit coming in and out because it's not the whole soul as such that's coming into the body. Like our soul might be doing lots of different things. Yeah, but thanks for pointing that out. And that's a little bit of what I think as well, pretty similar. But I tend to also then at the same time not get too fussed with it because I go like, okay, I'm getting what I need and I'm able to, with the work that I'm doing, I'm able to do the work. So whether that's soul, that's spirit, in terms of the tomato, it's okay. I tend to not fuss on that too much.
Fair enough. It was just a little personal question because I always like getting people's opinions on it.
The
Oh,
difference
no.
between the spirit and the soul, what I would say is that spirit is the part that's coming here, whereas the soul, so from the source, the source is the first spark where life for us first started, whatever first time we had. And that time, what's coming out of that is the soul, right? Then we have different areas where we are coming through, and then we'll incarnate on earth. That is our spirit, because in terms of our soul, we might just at the same time be incarnating here. We might be having another parallel lifetime somewhere else. We might be doing other things. We might not even be incarnating, just floating around and doing other things. What makes it easy, what makes it fun as well, is also that when you channel, however you're seeing the visions, they'll show up to you where you are at. And so they'll dress up, they'll have different names. It's all so that you can see them. And hence, this is the reason why, even when I work with guides, my own guides, I used to be really fussed around what is the name. And now it's more like, okay, what's the energy and how is it feeling? And I don't need to tune into the name as much because the energy, and once you start getting there, once you can tune into it, then it just makes more sense. Like name, for example, was more comfortable for me, not necessarily that the name was theirs.
Okay. Real quick, we are getting close to an ending point for an episode, but there's a lot to uncover here. So my question real quick is, do you think that we could see you on a future episode whenever we can just dive into even more in depth, maybe have some audience questions submitted and stuff?
Absolutely. I think I would love that. Yeah. Because I've been having this with a lot of other people as well. And this goes back to our theme around worthiness, right? We feel like to be worthy, we have to be perfect in some sense or form. Like there's a perfection. Perfection is very much valued in the world. And we think like we've got to be perfect. Now,
Mm,
it is just like you will never get perfect. You will never be able to get perfect by everyone's standards. Like, no way.
mm,
So it's a recipe for disaster. But also going back to our salt example, the baking
uh-huh.
example, and then thinking about salt. You are okay as you are right now, as you are. That is
Mm,
just fine. So take away the pressure of being perfect because other people need to see you as people and they just need
mm,
to see you what's going on, like all the layers and so on. It's absolutely okay. Just give yourself permission to be so that the world can
mm.
give you permission to be.
Ooh, give myself permission to be so that the world can give myself permission to be. Ooh, I think I needed to hear that at some level that I didn't realize. So thank you for that.
So, this is the beautiful thing about the world that because it's all set up very vibrationally aligned, wherever you are
Mm-hmm.
vibrating, people will meet you there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Ooh,
perfection
yeah.
means. That when they meet you there, they needed to just hear that. They needed to just see that. They needed to
Hmm.
have that bit of you, whether they liked it or not, right? Because it's vibrationally aligned. This is how you all grow. And then as
Huh.
you chip off and as you go into a much higher vibration, the other
Mm-hmm.
people, they'll find their other people and you will
Yeah.
find your other match based on your higher vibration.
Hmm.
So, hence, it is perfect. Wherever you are at,
Yeah.
that's how you will attract the world. But it is
Mm-hmm.
perfect because it's perfectly aligned for who's meant to listen, who's meant to be in your contact. Isn't that
Okay.
crazy? Like, isn't that so
Yeah.
cool as well? That
Mm-hmm.
we make it a lot harder for us, but it actually doesn't have to be that hard at all.
Mm-hmm. And then there's that whole, it's easier to blame everyone else for all my internal problems too. And so then it's like, no, I need to just turn the mirror on myself and be like, oh yeah, I didn't like that part of me. But I have to accept it because it is a part of me, but I don't want to feed that wolf. Does that
Yeah,
make
we're
sense?
coming back to worthiness again. Like we are
Yeah, it's
worthy, we are
weird.
okay as it is. And so this is the inner flow. We started our
Uh-huh.
conversation, started talking about channel and how do we really make
Mm-hmm.
sure that our channel is okay, that our channel is clear. And so this is your inner flow. Start with that
Mm-hmm.
understanding or love, appreciation for yourself, not someone else to do it for you, but just accepting
Mm-hmm.
yourself. And so, also when you connect with the earth and with the sun, they're
Mm-hmm.
natural balancing entities,
Mm-hmm.
natural balancing celestial beings for you.
Mm-hmm.
Look, when we have any electrical appliance in our house,
Mm-hmm.
that could be a kettle, that could be a toaster, they'll
Mm-hmm.
usually have an electrical earthing wire
Mm-hmm.
that connects them to the earth, like technically there, and it's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to help release any negative charges that they
Mm-hmm.
get.
Yeah.
Now, we walk around, we get hurt, we sometimes feel like we are getting controlled, we want to control people, all those games and so on. We have no earthing wire. We have all those negative
Mm-hmm.
charges. We have all the negative feelings in us. We have no earthing
Uh-huh.
wire, right?
Yeah.
So that is why when we go out, we walk in the nature, we
Hmm.
walk bare feet, we go like, that
Mm-hmm.
felt so relaxing because we were
Mm-hmm.
letting out all that negative stuff. So here's what we can do, which is the great thing. You don't even need to go out. If you can do it outside, that is awesome, but you don't need to. Just
Uh-huh.
close your eyes and you could even put your hands right around your root chakra, so which is like almost where you're sitting, and then your legs come up. So just around, it's actually the
Mm-hmm.
tip of your tailbone. So wherever you want to touch that, maybe if you want to put your hand at the back and the front, both, that's okay as well.
Mm-hmm.
And just imagine that your legs are getting really, really long, 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 and they're going through the earth, going all the way to the center of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just allowing your own body to ground. You're connecting with Mother Earth. The Mother Earth who understands you, who holds no judgment for you,
Mm-hmm.
who truly appreciates you for who you are. And she's just sending you love, pure love, unconditional love, no conditions, nothing like this is how you're looking today or this is the job that you need to do. No judgment. She is just super proud of you. So just allow her love to come in. And if you're feeling heavy, you can even just tell her that, hey, take away my heaviness. Or I'm having negative thoughts. Please, could you take those away? And then just allow the love to come back to you. So you're starting to clear your channel. It's like your tap that was filled with perhaps a lot of mud or a lot of dirt, and you're just
Mm-hmm.
allowing that to go away from you. And now imagine the sun above you, and this is the Father Sun. And so you can tell him, well, I want to fill my life with love and light. And so could you just bring some gold light here? Give me a lot of love. Give me joy. Give me peace. And so imagine that this gold water, this gold vibration comes down, and the channel that you were seeing, the tap that you were seeing for yourself, it's starting to get cleansed with that gold vibration. All the dirt's flowing away into the earth, the water's getting a lot clearer, and the gold is just coming and shining and sparkling everything. And that is your inner channel. That's how you are clearing your inner channel. So you can take a nice deep breath, anchor that in, and then when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back to us.
Yeah, I like that. Lots of tingles. Yeah, tingling all the way up from right up there down to the toesies.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So good. And so quick, so good, so amazing. That's all. Like if you ever feel like, oh, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling stressed, that's what you do.
Okay. So that is a quick little exercise I can do, anyone can do. Probably not to do while you're driving, though.
Yeah.
Unless you can drive and visualize with your eyes open, right?
No, but at the same time, I just say that because you're grounding and you don't quite know what you're going to ground, sometimes it can have you unconscious if you're just letting go of something. You don't really want to do it while you're driving.
Yeah, probably not a good idea. You definitely want to be keeping yourself safe and everyone else safe. So if someone's feeling that way, they should definitely pull over and do it that way, especially like if they're having really bad road rage or something, maybe.
Totally. I think everybody would thank them for that.
Yeah, I think everyone would and should. But we are getting real close to the end for this one episode, so we can see you back on in the future. I do have something new for the show, and it is a little game show segment. All right, everyone, it's time for one of our new favorite little games here on Retrieving Sanity. And since you're someone who works in some pretty profound and mystical realms, we're playing a segment called Truth, Tune In, or Total Woo. So I'm going to read some statements about energy, intuition, spiritual healing, and you'll let us know if it's the real deal, something worth tuning into and personalizing, or if it belongs in the cosmic junk drawer of woo-woo nonsense. You ready to play?
Absolutely. Bring it up.
Alrighty. Alright, so 1, you can read the Akashic Records for your pet.
Absolutely, because everything around people in your life, that's going to be in your Akashic Records.
I love it. Truth. So number 2, energy never lies. If you feel bad around someone, it's because their frequency is toxic.
For you, truth, yes.
Truth?
No, I think it just depends on the intention that you have. You have free will on this planet. Your intentions really hold the strongest thing. So I wouldn't want to discourage anyone from meditating or trying out anything spiritually because your intentions hold everything around you. Just be clear with your intentions and they are very strong.
Okay, so we'll call that one
Yeah.
Ooh, gotcha. Alrighty. So then we've got number 4. Everyone has a soul contract that outlines who they'll love and lose before birth.
It's not that everything has to play out like that. So life is giving you little knocks, right? The purpose is not to fulfill your soul contracts. This is not why you come in. You come in to have your evolution, like you have an agenda. That's what you want to do. There's a purpose. That is what you come for, right? Certain learning points that you want to have. If life gives you the little knock and you hear it, that's great enough. You don't have to go to the bigger lesson. So in that sense, your soul contracts, because every contract is teaching you, every relationship is teaching you as well. And if you could, there's this funny saying, right? Yes, you can break away from a relationship, but you won't be able to run away from yourself. So if you're breaking away from a relationship because the other person was toxic, great. Yes, the other person's toxic. Yes, you're running away from them. Cool. But you've got to do your inner work and you've got to clean up in yourself whatever was attracting that toxicity, because otherwise you will manifest the same person. Similar, different bodies, maybe a little bit different version. The story is a little bit different, but the lesson is the same. And you'll see that with your patterns. You'll see that with your friends. Talk to them about their relationship pattern. There's a pattern. Like, why do all of us keep attracting the same sort of people? But if we learn the lesson, we don't have to have the next one. Like, if we've learned it, we just get on to the next lesson. Then we don't need that contract in that way.
Okay, I love that. We'll mark that one as tune in. Number 5, you can raise your vibration just by drinking alkalized water and thinking good thoughts.
Totally. Well, Water, I personally would not be able to give an example there, but it sounds right, but I haven't personally tested it for myself. But good thoughts, definitely, because that's how. So high vibration is around thinking or around gratitude, those good thoughts and stuff. High vibration is literally that. And gratitude is just a cheat to get there. True.
I love it. So definitely truth. All right. And number 7, you shouldn't read someone else's Akashic records without their permission. It's like psychic trespassing.
True, totally. Truth, like please respect. But it's the same. Yep. It's like the same rules apply just because it's the mystical world. It shouldn't be any different, right? Do it. Yep. Do what you would do in the real world and do what you would have done to you.
Okay, so truth. And I've got a couple of other ones, but I think you've actually answered these in your own explanation. So let's do follow-ups, see if we've actually covered them to your liking. Make sure that we covered them in full, and if you feel like you want to expound on them here in the moment, by all means. So then we've got, have you ever encountered something that felt true but didn't make logical sense?
Lots of times, and that's when I did not believe as much in the energy work. And when I say believe, it's like, you know, when you do those wrong decisions, when you know like this I should not be doing, but you do it because of some reason, and time and again it's been like, you should have listened. And that's when you know you make the wrong choices. Like every single wrong choice that I go and I think back about, there was a voice in my heart that was always telling me, not okay.
Gotcha. How did you get past that point of self-doubt about what you were experiencing with the Akashic Records and everything? At the very beginning, I'm sure that there was a lot of, nah, this can't be real, right?
I just played with it a lot. I had people to practice it with as I was doing my course, and that's what I really spent a lot of time doing, like practicing it with other people as well, reading. I think my benefit has been that I learned everything through seeing a vision, right? So once you start tuning into it, like that is there. That vision just comes. Like after a while, it's like, okay, this is what I saw. And, you know, there's no taking that away. I did not make that up. But it is trusting yourself. Especially, we are wired to not trust our intuition. We are wired to think about all of this is woo-woo. But the same way as we were talking about collect the happy moments, it is one of those things that start collecting when things work for you, because you've got to train your mind that way. So start collecting when things are working. And I started noticing so for anyone who's new and who's trying out, I would just encourage, go out, talk to your friends. And if you are an intuitive wanting to practice that, you know, do lots of those to develop your confidence, and do it with people who would be really open, because sometimes there can be people there where you are channeling in truth for them, but they're not ready for that truth, or they're still in denial. You know, maybe they're not even evil, but they are just not there yet. So it's not that they're trying to do anything to you. So you want to have people who are ready to listen, who are ready to meet you where you're at. And that's part of the reason why I do my circles as well, because with my moon meditation circle, that's a visualization circle. So we practice clairvoyance there. Then I have an awakened parenting circle, and that also is a very clairvoyant circle, but you get to engage with other students and you get to practice with them, and it's in the safe place where there is a teacher who's holding space, who's actually really seeing what's happening. But when you do that and you do that a couple of times, and you start realizing you're not faking it. Like it's not any different to, let's say, learning to ride a bike or learning to walk. In the first few times we did it, we fell down. It's the same as trying something like this. Your visions are not going to be inaccurate, but your channel needs to be clear. And once you've got that, it is so truthful. And sometimes you might not make full sense of it, and then it'll come to you later on, because you'll go like, oh, okay, and this is why I need to see this now, because only now I'm ready for this deeper message.
Okay, I love that. That's really, really insightful. Really, really good. Do you think some people lean on spiritual beliefs to avoid doing the hard inner work?
They can. There's an escapism. There can be an escapism with everything. There can be this, like, I'm going through this, and then the loss can become, or whatever growth that they're having, that can become the bigger thing. It's just the same way we say, well, and I've been in this boat where I've said, well, I've just been depressed, I don't know what to do. But there can be an essence of us where it sounds very rude, but it, we sort of like it. Like, you know, we don't want to climb up because the climb up is so much harder. It seems so different, so difficult, something that we haven't done. Which is why I just encourage that go out, find people who will support you, find teachers who will be able to hold the space for you. Find those little bits that will work for you. But you don't need to be in there, you don't need to be in the darkness because nobody benefits with that. And there's support for you out there.
I'd have to say, yeah, that's pretty deep. I'm afraid some people might have got a paper cut from that one, or worse. You know, just because some people are going to be like, ouch.
I know, it's sad, it hurts, and I hear you because I've been there. Like, I used to wake up crying and I used to think like my life was gone. And to a lot of extent, I think that I manifested my daughter's loss as well because I needed that to wake up. So I'm sorry if anyone has a paper cut. I'm really sorry. But then at the same time, you know, I hope nobody else has to go through as much grief, as much pain to be able to learn. Like, you are here on life. It is such an amazing experience that you get to live. It's such an amazing experience that you are a soul who can walk around, who can feel things, who can do things. You know, we think that the other beings are more powerful, but no, we just talked about how you have your free will, your words, your intent are very, very powerful. So you have the ultimate power here, and you're in that position of power. You're really blessed. Seek out people, seek out coaches, seek out teachers who will be able to hold the space for you so that you're able to climb up. But you have this amazing opportunity that there are so many beings, souls who want to come on earth and who want to incarnate. Like, that takes a whole lot of time. So you're so blessed to be here. Recognize that there is light in you. There's a reason why you are here. The world needs your light. So I hope you can find your light.
Yeah. I love that. And I think everyone should be able to find their light, and everyone deserves to be able to find their light.
Yeah, and there's support out there. Like, there are coaches who will meet you at your level, who'll do things in ways that suit you. Set that intention out. Go to the universe and say, hey, I need help, and this is what I need. This is the sort of person I need. Again, the law of vibration works. So wherever you are at, you're going to find someone who's exactly in tune there. So you will find that, but have that out. You know, it just starts with that hope. I think where I was saying where people give up is where they give up on hope. Don't give up on hope. Don't give up on living. You're living. You're alive. So don't give up on that. Find the thing, find the strength that you need to move on.
I love that. We did cover a whole lot today, and I've noticed one thing that you've come back to a couple of times. And so after playing our Truth Tune In or Total Woo, and after getting to know you really well, or at least as far as an hour or so can get us to know each other, Retrieving Sanity has decided to bestow upon you the title Mystical Vibes Manager as the Akashic Records and Energy Coach for Retrieving Sanity. So, the Mystical Vibes Manager, thank you for being on the show and playing our Truth Tune In or Total Woo. Where can everyone find you again? It is Art of Life Center, correct?
Yes, artoflifecenter.com, and I have this freebie at artoflifecenter.com/parent. And then if people want to come out and just have a chat or just see what sort of stuff I do, then find me at Kanika Energy Coach on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Instagram. That is Kanika, Kanika Energy Coach. Just as one word, Kanika Energy Coach. And I'll be so happy to be in touch with you and just play, talk, have fun.
Alrighty. Well, it has been an absolute honor and a pleasure. Our new Mystical Vibes Manager, I thank you very much for all of your insight and just your experiences, your insight, your experiences, your profound wisdom. And there was another one that escapes me right now. It starts with an S. Sympathy? Empathy? Synergetic empathy. There we go. I thank you for all of that and just the amount of love that you have for everyone else, because it is apparent that you have a whole bunch to share with the world. So thank you for coming on the show and sharing it here.
Thank you so much, Keegan. That is such an honor. Thank you so much. Because when I started doing this work and till today, my intention always is that whoever is the listener who's listening to this, all the people who are listening even afterwards, that it helps them with something, that it is for their highest good. So thank you. That's my deepest desire, that this is what I bring to the world. So thank you so much for acknowledging that.
I actually have one last question. The name of this podcast is Retrieving Sanity, and we explore how all facets of living life impact mental health. Looking at the incredibly motley adventures of your life, what does retrieving sanity personally mean to you today? And what's one practice or perspective you believe is crucial for anyone on that journey?
So I'm tuning in also into the group right now. And
Uh-huh.
just sanity, instead of thinking about it seriously, we can just start thinking about going back to our childhood. It does not mean like, becoming the 2-year-old, but like being that curious, being that fun loving person. Get back there.
Yeah.
It does not have to be serious. Find joy in the small things.
Hmm.
It's a little bit like stop, smell the roses, stop and see what is happening for you. Look at the little moments of happiness that you have. Look at the little things that are working out for you. So, sanity is a lot around stop worrying about the stuff that is all falling down for you, that is beyond your control. A lot of times we do that. We think, oh my God, this is too much. Think instead of, oh, I love this. This is going okay. And remember, you need to say that as well, because that's how you hold your vibration. That's how you tell the universe, this is what I want more of. So notice the little things in your life that are going well, whatever that little thing is. Maybe if your car could drive, you had money to put fuel into your car, if you had money to get food, if you could just drink water, if you could just lie down safely, if you could just walk today, whatever that little thing is, thank yourself for that and recognize that. So that's how you start finding more and more of this sanity back into you. And because enjoy the small moments, enjoy life.
Yeah, I love that. Stop, smell the roses, enjoy life, and whatever is not meant for you, just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I think that is a great synopsis for retrieving sanity, to be honest.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, Keegan. I've had so much fun on the show.
Of course. Thank you very much for being on the show. It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. And I'm looking forward to our next conversation where we dive into the Akashic Records. Kanika, it's been an absolute pleasure and an honor. And everyone out there, thank you for tuning in to Retrieving Sanity on WDJY 99.1 FM. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And don't forget to stop by the artoflifecenter.com, and you can either go to /bio or /parent and get in touch with her, because you'll definitely want to hear more than what this episode has to offer. So, Kanika, thank you again for being on Retrieving Sanity. I look forward to speaking with you in the future.